the Roundball Rock Podcast, starring Dave Schilling, Eddie Jordan, Chuckle Williams, Joey Devine, Campy Russell, Buzz Peterson, Sean Keane, Stefano Rusconi, Patreons, Caleb McNeese, thank you, Caleb, Ryan Darling, thank you, Ryan, Tyler Moss, thank you, Tyler, David West, thank you, Corbin A. Smith, musical guest, Beefsteaks, and now the temporary host of Roundball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of the Roundball Rock Podcast. That is right, I am the temporary host of the podcast that you hit play on. And if you accidentally touched the wrong podcast and then it took like 10 seconds and like kind of froze and started playing this, I apologize too, but you should listen to the whole thing later. Real quick before we get started, just a reminder to all our friends out there in podcast land. You can follow us on Twitter at RoundRockPod, email us at RoundRockPod, leave us a voicemail at the phone number in the description of the show. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. I'm looking at you, Lakers Paladin, Dunn Nelson, a.k.a. Shot Daddy. Somebody, give us a call. Come on. Mm-hmm. Big Corbs. Somebody. Also, if you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. I know it's really weird. Somebody out there wants to give us 4 stars, and I get it. I get it. I'm happy being a 4-star show, but unfortunately, Apple Podcasts only allows you to give 5 stars. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's just for this show, too.
Yeah, you can totally give 0-star reviews or 1-star reviews to, like, Welcome to Night Vale, or, what's another lame normie podcast?
You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes.
Pod Save Kofefi, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like the show even more than being a reviewer, you can also help us make the show better by giving us small amounts of money every month in exchange for goods like extra podcasts, being in an exclusive group chat where you can talk to Big Corbin A. Smith about the Untitled Goose Game, buttons, exclusive Roundball Rock buttons, t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff at patreon.com/roundrockpod. And that is our business for the night. That voice you've been hearing, obviously, is my co-host, my best friend, the person who has power attorney over me and my estate, Sean Keane. Sean, how are you?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. I was at a wedding this weekend in Santa Cruz. That's where we recorded the Patreon episode for you Patreons. That's where the room I was sitting inside podcasting was. So
was it
on the Roundball Rock reality tour? What's that?
Was it spooky?
This was not. It was not spooky, even though the wedding was in a forest.
Santa Cruz is pretty spooky, though.
It is. They have a lot of those vampires.
Yeah, the Lost Boys are from there.
That guy Michael, who eats maggots.
People are strange there.
Mm-hmm. That is true. They're very strange.
Well, you know what? We have too much show to get to talk anymore about how there were tons of serial killers operating all at the same time in the 1970s in the sleepy beach town of Santa Cruz, or about the professional Santa Cruz surfer Rat Boy, who I once saw beat the shit out of a guy because he stole his wave. Anyway, let's talk about Tillman Time.
It's Tillman Time. That's right. Texas Tillman Trump supporter, state houseman, and billionaire buyer. Houston Rockets motherfucker. Tillman Time.
How does Tillman describe himself?
A motherfucker.
Tillman Time.
Sean, it's been a big week for Tillman Time. When we look, you new listeners out there, we've been obsessed with Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta for longer than he's owned the Houston Rockets.
That's true. That is true.
And 8 months ago, we started a segment on the show called Tillman Time.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Sean, in your wildest dreams, did you ever imagine that Tillman Fertitta would be involved in a legitimate international incident?
I did not, Joey, because he has been involved in domestic incidents. It's funny because, do you remember last week when there was that Darren Rovell receipt he tweeted?
The healthcare receipt, yes.
That is something that Tillman Fertitta did at like all his restaurants in a few states 2 years ago.
Yep.
And that went national, but I didn't think that Tillman had the reach to piss off 1.4 billion people.
Now,
but he did.
Be fair to Tillman. Well, no, I don't want to be fair to Tillman. What am I talking about here? Fuck Tillman Fertitta. He did not incite the international incident, which, if you told me that Tillman Fertitta was involved in an international incident, I would have been like, oh, 100% he incited it. He somehow drove his yacht into international waters and murdered like a countess or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he whipped someone in public in Mexico or something like that, you know?
For those of you, obviously, we're talking about China. We talked about it a little bit on the Patreon, but that was just the beginning part.
Yes.
Since then, things have only gotten worse for the NBA and China. Sean, do you want to walk us through what's going on here?
Okay, so Friday night, Daryl Morey tweeted an image. Look, it was not a retweet, but it was effectively a retweet. You know what that is on the internet when it's like, it's an image someone else made that everyone else is making. And that image said, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong."
Yeah, it was the most Facebook-ass boomer image possible.
I absolutely agree with that. What it reminded me of is because it's like, it's fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. Like, standing with somebody, look, I'm sure they appreciate the support, but it's like, it's a fairly weak soup show of support.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It kind of reminds me of marking yourself at the Standing Rock.
Ooh, that's good. I thought it was more like turning your Facebook profile photo red, white, and blue for France.
Yeah.
But definitely like...
It's the same amount of extremely low-level internet support. It's just like... when an old celebrity dies and then everyone goes out of their way to be like, oh my God, I loved Rip Taylor so much.
and even the nature of it, like he did it kind of late on a Friday night. So it's not like...
Here's a question. Do you think Daryl Morey was drunk when he tweeted that?
It's possible, but I mean, it feels like something you could have made that mistake just by being like a little bit tired. And aren't the Rockets like just traveling around a lot right now? I don't know. It didn't seem like something that if he'd like really sat down and thought about it, he would have tweeted. But I can imagine if he thought about it for like a minute, he would have thought, there's nothing really wrong with this. Like, this is
right.
It felt well. We talked about this today. We'll get to that in a sec. But this is one of those we track the woke off a lot on this.
Except I've
podcast.
stopped tracking the woke off, honestly, because it's fake and stupid.
The problem is it became too much of a real thing. But this would not get a lot of credit in the woke off. It's a layup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the reaction so first Tillman makes him delete the tweet and apologize, and then the league apologized.
Here's actually,
and then
hold
Maury
on.
apologized.
Now that I think about it, I do think Tillman Fertitta incited this incident.
Oh, by making him delete it so fast?
I think if he deletes it and no one ever says anything, no one pays attention to this.
Like, Tillman doesn't make that statement, and it's just like, Maury, delete that tweet, and then suddenly it's like, Maury had this tweet, but he deleted it right away.
Right.
It's like not... I do think that would have checked it a lot, because... You know, I mean,
people
to be
delete
honest,
tweets
deleting
all the
tweets
time.
works.
Yeah.
yeah. And in fact, we encourage you to delete tweets all the time. You have no reason, you have no commitment to a historical record.
No.
There's no reason for Stephen A. Smith to have a 9-year-old tweet
about Palestine,
about Muslims. Like, is there anyone in his life who's like, just delete every old tweet you had before, I don't know, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Like, oh, you really want to see what you were tweeting about the fucking World Series 6 years ago?
Right. Especially when you're doing, like, I mean, if you ever looked back on someone who, like, comments a lot about a live sporting event, like, those need to go the next day.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. If Maury just deletes it,
and Tillman does not say anything. I don't think this is a story.
Well, or if people really are offended later, he waits till Saturday morning and then he just says something. Like don't tweet it.
Mm-hmm.
like that's where the bots are.
Right.
Like you're yelling in the city dump that's on fire when you're responding to a Twitter thing on Twitter. Like act like a grown-up and talk to a newspaper. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll tweet it, but at least it's not like on your account and you're adding your general, like no NBA executive or owner needs to use Twitter at all.
No one needs to use Twitter at all.
No one needs to do Twitter at all. But specifically, like...
and I say that as a person who controls the Twitter account for this show and my own personal Twitter account.
Yeah.
No one should tweet, ever.
I think I have access to like 6 Twitter accounts right now at this point.
Wow.
But and again, no one should tweet. But in particular, I feel like the upside of an NBA general manager tweeting compared to the enormous cliff of a downside.
That being
just
said,
never tweet. Use a burner account to follow people, but just never tweet.
That all of this being said, Daryl Morey, please do not delete your Twitter, because then how will our fans tweet Daryl Morey go on round ball at you?
Yeah, it's a safe space here. We won't even ask him about it. Like,
no,
again,
we only want to talk about musicals with Daryl Morey.
Specifically, we want to know a lot about Small Ball.
See, I don't even want to know that much about Small Ball. I want to know about other musicals. I want to know if he has an out like advanced stats,
is he breaking down like the librettos?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is there a cast member above Patinkin?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I bet there's a lot of like early second act inefficiencies that you can exploit.
Yeah, exactly. These are the things I want to ask him. Anyway, back to our international incident. So Tillman tweets out a shitty apology, distancing himself from Daryl Morey. We should say, even though, people might get mad at us, this is it's pretty easy just to say, hey, I don't think cops should be violently attacking peaceful protesters, no matter what they're protesting.
I mean, 2 protesters got shot this past week, and it's a layup.
Like, I
It
understand
really is
I understand the politics of China and Hong Kong are very complicated, but I still I am always anti-cop. So
Well, and also,
and
you're-
so
also
apparently is Daryl Morey.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, Mitt Romney has never had problems with the police, so
Okay, so then what happens, Sean?
so
Tillman makes it worse, which
Tillman
is his
makes
way.
Morey apologizes. Morey and the NBA both use the phrase "our friends and fans in China."
Morey does not apologize, though. That's another problem. He puts out a tweet talking about how he tweeted something, but he doesn't say like, "Hey, I don't believe in this. Sorry." He doesn't even really apologize for tweeting.
Well, let's just read his tweet. I did not intend my tweet to cause any offense to Rocket fans and friends of mine in China. I was merely voicing one thought based on one interpretation of one complicated event. I've had a lot of opportunity since that tweet to hear and consider other perspectives. I have always appreciated the significant support our Chinese fans and sponsors have provided, and I would hope that those who are upset will know that offending or misunderstanding them was not my intention. My tweets are my own and in no way represent the Rockets or the NBA.
See, not an apology. He just says like, "Hey," you know what I mean? It's like he never says sorry. He just says, "I did not intend to offend anyone."
Yes. And he says, I didn't mean to offend or misunderstand anyone.
Yep. So then what happens? Does that fix everything?
It does not.
No, in fact, does it make things worse?
I think it does make things worse, Joey.
Yeah.
I think fighting in the arena of Twitter is not helping.
No.
So I will say,
Which is weird because Twitter is banned in China.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know who else is banned in China, Joey? The Houston Rockets.
Well, we're going to get to that.
Yeah, so CCTV and Tencent, which is like Chinese League Pass, I think, basically.
Well,
right? Don't
no,
they do
Tencent is
digital
like,
broadcasts?
Well, yes, but Tencent is probably one of the largest corporations in the world. They make like 1,000 video games. They're like Amazon China, but only digital, I think. Like Alibaba's or Wish or whatever is I don't know, is Amazon China. But they're like, I think they're like Comcast, basically, for China.
But they provide all the streaming for NBA games in China. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So they both said that they're not going to air Rockets games anymore. However, League Pass works in China. Apparently, most people had the Rockets designated as their home team, and everyone was given instructions on how to change that to something else. Also, Li Ning, the sports apparel company, announced they're cutting ties to the Rockets, and some Chinese bank. Like these teams, it's not totally clear. I mean, I think they're just advertisers on their telecasts and stuff. So after the NBA's apology, Adam Silver made a follow-up comment where he was just answering questions at a press conference, right? I think. Because the NBA, the reason this is also coming up is
they put out a statement.
Well, they put out a statement, but what was the one where was it that Adam Silver said he was not going to stop anyone's free speech? I think he was answering questions.
Maybe. I don't know. The NBA's put out so many statements, and they've just been worse and worse every time.
Yeah, and so, but in response to Adam Silver saying, "I'm not going to stop any player or GM from expressing an opinion," China's state broadcaster came back and said, "Comments that challenge a nation's sovereignty and stability do not count as free speech."
You're missing a couple of things that have happened here.
Okay, please.
James Harden apologized early on Monday. Wait.
Oh, that was early.
That has to be the one that hurts Morey the most, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Because Morey has really shown his ass a lot going to bat to try and get James Harden MVP awards. And the second he has a chance to turn on him, he does. Then James Harden, both James Harden and Russell Westbrook went on Chinese television talking about how much they love China and are with China. That also happened yesterday. Anyway.
Yeah. It's weird because James Harden honestly really didn't have to say anything.
No.
Because it's... I mean, I get, like... It doesn't actually jeopardize him. I'm sure someone asked him to, but it came off as very bootlicking, I thought.
All of this has come off as bootlicking. Like, for a league that pretends and has marketed itself so much like, yeah, sure, the NFL blackballed Kaepernick, but we're the NBA. We're fucking woke. Like, it's really, just shown how, they're way more into money than actually anything else, which, you know, they're a corporation made up of billionaires of tiny Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I got the best example of this is that the NBA got owned on Twitter by Texas Senator Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Very great.
As a lifelong Houston Rockets fan, I was proud to see Daryl Morey call out the Chinese Communist Party's repressive treatment of protesters in Hong Kong. Now, in pursuit of big money, the NBA is shamefully retreating. We're better than this. Human rights shouldn't be for sale, and the NBA shouldn't be assisting Chinese communist censorship. Now, I feel like he was hitting the communist word a little bit hard for a reason, but... I mean, his next tweet is in support of South Park, so...
well, yeah, because South Park weirdly involved themselves this week. I think, coincidentally, I don't even think it was on purpose, but they put out a weird China episode today, too.
Yeah, I think it was called Made in China. I know they make that show fast, but yeah, this was like about an unrelated thing.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's about Hong Kong. And I'm sure it's about how, like, China would be better off if they were, like, libertarian or whatever, but because those guys have weird politics.
Can I read you the Trey Parker and Matt Stone quote?
Is it the one that about the NBA?
It is the official apology.
Ahead. Yeah.
Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Xi doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China.
Mm-hmm.
Not great.
Both of
but
those
at
guys
the same
are
time,
Yang Gang, right?
I mean, it is unpredictable.
They're like either Yang Gang or like they're writing in Jordan Peterson, right?
They're like gun control guys, so they're not really like libertarians. I don't know. They're probably in an odd place politically. I think they're not really libertarians though.
Say that again.
Except when I think those guys are not particularly libertarians, except when it comes to like restrictions on them doing whatever they want, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about them.
Whatever.
My biggest question here is Daryl Morey going to join the DSA?
I think this... Well, okay, is this going to steer him away from corporations, or is he going to get Red Scared away?
Wait, which Red Scare are you talking about? The podcast with those like Lady Come Town, or like literal Joe McCarthy Red Scare?
I meant Joe McCarthy Red Scare. I don't really listen to podcasts.
Just making sure.
They're for losers, Joey. Yeah. Would he be scared that like the Communist Party already came after him, so he's gonna like he could just become a hyper capitalist as a result.
I mean, he is one though. Daryl Morey is like
he's a Mitt Romney campaign donor.
He's like the poorest he's like the poorest tech bro. You know what I mean? Not that he's poor.
Do you think he's a flat taxer?
100%, dude.
Yeah, he might be Yang Gang too.
I think Yang might be too liberal for him, honestly.
Yeah, he's probably never Trump though.
Yeah, but I think he's like, we got to vote for Elon Musk.
What if
you know what I
mean?
mean?
Oh, so he's like a Tom Steyer.
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
probably. Okay, yeah.
If he lived in California, he would be one of those like, we need to cut this into 5 states, creating the 2 poorest states in the union.
Yeah, and he's like, and each one has a different age of consent law.
Yeah,
I'm saying Daryl Morey would be like that, but those guys are like that.
All right, should we read our statement on this?
I think we should.
Okay. At Roundball Rock, we would never kowtow to a totalitarian leader. In unrelated news, congratulations to the Honorable Macky Sal, President of Senegal, where this podcast is, number 88 in the country, for his selection as one of the 2 Sunhawk Peace Prize laureates. To us, there's only one Sunhawk Peace Prize laureate, and it's you, His Honorable Macky Sal, President of Senegal. All right. I also have a brief statement I would want to read.
Mm-hmm.
It's not news. It's not Tillman Time. Tillman Time is over. But Anthony Randolph played his 100th ACB game today. And I just want to say, hey, Anthony, make that your last game. Come on home. Come back to the NBA, Anthony.
Come back, baby.
Yeah, we need you.
Come on.
All right, should we do our division preview, Sean?
Let's do it.
All right. Do you have a character that the Central Division is?
Yeah, I do. There were 6 candidates to take over the island on Lost, and there's 6 divisions in the NBA. The Central Division, it's a little rough around the edges. There's some trades that have been made that almost seem like a con man must have perpetrated them.
I think I know where you're going here.
And you've also got a guy like Blake Griffin who likes to mess around and make insulting nicknames for people. This division is James Ford, aka Sawyer.
Wow, that's a heavy hitter. You gave a heavy hitter to the Central Division.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like even though he starts off as a wild man, there's a lot of stability with Sawyer. And he's got a lot of lows and a lot of highs. A high being, ascending to the top of the Dharma Initiative's security team. A low point being one of the 33 times he was knocked unconscious within about 4 or 5 months. Also falling out of a helicopter, that probably really sucked.
Didn't he also fall out of a helicopter in Mission Impossible 3?
No, he's in Mission Impossible 4.
Oh, Ghost
actually.
Protocol, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah. I believe he's just shot, though.
It's
probably one of the others.
And as we all know, you've been doing your thing with characters of Lost. I have been naming... Look, there are 6 divisions in the NBA, and there are 6 members of the band Rammstein, and I've been naming which division is which member of Rammstein, and of course, the Central Division is Richard Z. Kruspe, the lead guitar and backing vocals for Rammstein. So, du hast Central Division, du hast mich.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get to our first team?
Let's do it.
All right, Sean. The Milwaukee Bucks. Last year, they went 60-22, good for first in the East. They swept the Pistons and the Celtics, and then lost to Toronto 4-2. They were 4th on offense, 1st in defense, 2nd in pace. They said goodbye to the president himself, Malcolm D. Brogdon. Look, I don't know if his middle initial is D, but it just seems like it would be.
It does really seem like that.
They also said goodbye to Tony Snell. I imagine a lot of people are happy to say goodbye to Tony Snell every time they say goodbye to Tony Snell. They also said goodbye to Nikola Mirotic, but really they said goodbye to him at the end of the regular season last year. And because the man did not show up for the playoffs. And then they also said goodbye to everyone's favorite tiny G League point guard, Tim Frazier.
Mm-hmm. Joey, I just wanted to tell you that Malcolm Brogdon's his name is Malcolm Moses Adams Brogdon, so he is actually MMA Brogdon.
Wow, that should actually be his nickname, not the president.
Really should.
They said hello to Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother. They're one away from getting the whole set. They also signed Dragon Bender for some reason. They signed Kyle Korver because I guess White Dante and White Pat weren't white enough. Wesley Matthews and, of course, Robin Lopez. My first question for you, Sean. They have 2 Antetokounmpos and 2 Lopezes. Are there any other brothers available that they could just swoop in and pick up? Does Kyle Korver have a brother?
Kyle Korver's brothers are like farmers and preachers, I think. I mean, I really do think they are. I mean, Wes Matthews is an NBA son.
True.
Which is not exactly the same. It does feel like there was a Morris twin opportunity here that they missed. They probably didn't have enough cash to do that.
Maybe Dante DiVincenzo has a brother in the draft this year they can get.
There's got to be at least one Harrison available too.
The real question I have for you though, Sean, is did the Bucks screw up this summer, or is this a good offseason?
It's interesting because I don't actually think they screwed up this summer as much as they screwed up this spring. Because I think if you were... Now look, it's very hard to judge... Okay, they decided to keep Middleton Lopez and then used some money they cleared, I think just from trading Tony Snell, to keep George Hill. But before the season ended, they gave an extension to Eric Bledsoe and basically chose him over Malcolm Brogdon.
Right.
And while I feel like that's pretty defensible, I'm not like that good at personally evaluating defense, but people who know about defense seem to think that Eric Bledsoe is really good defensively. But that being said, Malcolm Brogdon was like way better in the playoffs.
Yeah. That was what I was going to bring up. Malcolm Brogdon was never scared into a Drew Bledsoe appearance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that just feels like getting owned by Terry Rozier just feels so brutal.
Unless, of course, you're Michael Jordan, who got owned by Terry Rozier this summer. And it's not like disastrous. Like it seems like it would have sent a nice message to Giannis to just bring back Brogdon because they could have. I mean, unless he really thought he was going to get more playing time in Indiana, it kind of feels like he's going to have the same type of role. But Brogdon started, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a very accurate shooter. Now, granted, I don't know that he's like the most well-rounded offensive player, but it's pretty nice to have a guy who makes 3-pointers at a really high rate when you're playing with Giannis, you know? Yeah, I think both Eric Bledsoe and Malcolm Brogdon are both really overrated.
They are both overrated is the thing. So, and they did get a little bit of stuff back from Malcolm Brogdon at least. So it's like, I kind of feel like they did trade Brogdon for, the ability to trade for more stuff at mid-season. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, they're both overrated, so it's kind of like I think I would slightly prefer Brogdon.
I prefer Brogdon's skill set for sure.
Yeah.
But
just
I don't know.
I feel like
I kind of just think it's like if you have Giannis, right? Like, can't you just have anybody standing in the corner hitting threes? Like, you don't really need a point guard.
Right, and
like,
I guess
isn't that
but I
like
feel like
Kyle Korver's job now or whatever? Like, or isn't it going to be Dante D's job
or Wes Matthews,
or White Pat?
I mean, all those guys
Sterling
were
Brown.
pretty solid. So do you think you would have? I don't know. I mean, I think they were. I think it's very defensible, but it's possible that like Eric Bledsoe is a guy that gets shut down in the playoffs, and
Sure.
that would not be ideal.
You know who fucking rocked in the playoffs last year, though?
Who's that?
George Hill, man.
Yeah, he
Throwing down
ruled.
alley oops. So I don't know. Maybe that'll happen again. All right.
They kind of, they got a little unlucky of the year that all their guys became free agents. You know,
Right.
like a lot of cap space out there. And Dragan Bender. I mean, why am I even mentioning Dragan Bender?
We don't.
Alex Len wasn't shitty for the Hawks once he got out of Phoenix, so I think that's their hope.
Mm.
Is that like someone will teach this guy to set a screen, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a really good 6'11" athlete." Okay.
All right, Sean. We gotta move along.
Yeah,
here.
you're right. Sorry.
What American junk food should the Bucks serve Giannis to win his favor so he takes the extension this summer?
I think bacon wrapped hot dog.
Mm.
I think he maybe has never tried that, and I feel like Milwaukee probably has really good hot dogs. And like if it's a combination of two salty meats, Wisconsin really has it.
Mm. Good choice. I think we all know the Greek freak has a blowjob bell, and he is a freak in the sheets. He said so himself.
Yes.
So I think the correct answer is, of course, edible underwear. All right. Will the Lopez brothers form an unstoppable bond in the front court? Or will cat-related infighting and difference of opinions on the third act of Avengers Endgame tear the locker room apart?
I think these guys are ready to really get along and be brothers. I think they've just matured enough. I think they might be have each other's backs a little too much. Like I could see some Robin Lopez ejections coming this year. Like he seems like he might be vulnerable to leaving the bench during an altercation.
I mean,
involving his brother.
look, I love the Lopez twins. I don't think you can have them in the same place at the same time.
Do you feel like this is like a Southland Tales kind of thing, or like a separating kids in the back?
This is like those fighting fish.
Oh yeah,
you can't keep them in the same tank. It's just it seems like trouble to me, and I'm worried it's not only going to poison the Bucks, it's also going to poison the two Antetokounmpos that are in Milwaukee.
Like they see that and they're like, "Wait, that's how brothers interact?" Oh no,
yeah,
it's definitely going to make the locker room weird.
You think? All right, and finally, a real basketball question, Sean. Which young player do the Bucks most need to give minutes to? Sterling Brown, Dante DiVincenzo, or DJ Wilson?
I think what DJ Wilson provides is something that is very unique, and the rest of the team does not provide. I really like Dante, but I think DJ Wilson is the guy who could use some bonus minutes this year.
I actually think the answer is White Dante. I prefer
great, though,
DJ
right?
Wilson as a player, but letting Brogdon go and Snell go, like they have the Lopez's, they have Giannis,
Ersan,
they have Ersan, they have a lot of bigs, They need a weirdo wing to just come in and do some stuff.
I would definitely love it if that happened. Just having like you almost have like a double Connaughton. You have like inside Connaughton, which is their existing Connaughton, and then outside Connaughton, which is Dante.
All right, let's go on to our next team. Over under 58.
I think what they win this year 62. I think they're going to go under just because they're not going to try for going over, but very slight, I would say.
I'm taking the over. I think this is like a 63 win team.
Hell yeah!
Just because the East is so much worse.
Right. I just wonder if they're going to their like knee-jerk reaction to losing to team load management in the conference finals is going to make them rest Giannis way
Look,
more.
they have to win a championship before both of their owners are indicted.
That's true.
For their sexual crimes. Alleged.
Alleged. One a little more than alleged, one more speculative.
Yeah. Can you imagine Wes Edens in that locker room? Just like, hey, do it for my dead friend Jeffrey. He had a wonderful plane. I miss his island. All right. The Indiana Pacers. Last year they went 48-34. Good for 5th in the East. They were swept by the Celtics. They were 18th on offense, 3rd in defense, 24th in pace. They said goodbye to the bar mitzvah man, Kyle O'Quinn. To the angry man, Wesley Matthews. To the Canadian man, Corey Joseph. To the sad man, Tyreek Evans. To the pious man, Darren Collison. To the best man, Bogdan Bogdanovic. You know what? To the bog man, Bogdan Bogdanovic. And, of course, to the only guy, if you filter his stats down, to be compared to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Larry Bird, Thaddeus Young. They said hello to rookie Goga Bitadze. Justin Holiday, the lesser of the Holiday brothers. The lessest, I would say, in fact. Jeremy Lamb, disappointing Connecticut man. CJ Wilcox, TJ McConnell, TJ Warren, and Malcolm Brogdon. So here's my question, Sean. Victor Oladipo is very clearly their best player.
Yes.
But wasn't their second best player last year Bogdan Bogdanovic?
Yes, and he played the whole season as well.
How would you feel replacing Bogdan Bogdanovic with TJ Warren?
It seems like a definite downgrade. And this is someone who... Now, granted, I do think it's very difficult to judge TJ Warren because he was on the wretched, embarrassing Phoenix Suns, but that is certainly not a point in his favor that he was on that team, too.
He was on for a very long time, too. So it's not
like I'm not saying he's doomed or anything, but I don't know. You're taking a little risk there.
It's a lot of time to have Devin Booker sipping on your soul. You know what I mean?
And Bogdanovic seems like, whereas he's not necessarily like a good defender,
he's a bad defender.
Tries
but
a lot.
Tries,
yeah, he tries and he's big. So he's not awful.
I also should say he was their second best offensive player.
Oh, right.
Their best player last year was probably, other than Oladipo, was probably either actually weirdly Sabonis or Turner, who they both played the same position.
Yep.
We'll get to that, though. My second question. The Pacers added some players, but they lost a lot of players. 64% of Indiana's minutes last year went to guys who aren't playing this year. Are they still going to be good?
Yeah, let me clarify. I mean, they're just not playing for them this
Right,
year.
yeah.
I think it is...
Tyreek Evans did not play 64% of their minutes.
No, but they did lose. I think Bogdanovich definitely played the most minutes for them.
I mean, Thaddeus Young also probably played a lot of minutes because that man is a robot.
Yeah, he should have played for Tibbs because he wouldn't have been as vulnerable to the being exhausted and ruining his body.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they have a much more different team than maybe people realize.
Right.
Yeah, because so their minutes leaders, Bogdan
Gone.
top, Thaddeus almost as many.
Gone.
Third is Darren Collison. Then you have Miles Turner.
There.
Fifth was Corey Joseph.
Gone.
Sixth was Sabonis. Seventh was Tyreek Evans. Ninth was Victor Oladipo.
He's sort of there.
He's missing like half the season. Yeah. And then Wesley Matthews.
Gone.
So that's like 7 of their top 10 minutes guys. I don't know. It's just they're going to need a lot from Malcolm Brogdon. That's my conclusion.
You know what? I like Malcolm Brogdon, fine. I like TJ Warren, fine, even though I've kind of talked shit about him. I like Jeremy Lamb. I think he's a good 3-and-D guy. He can easily be like your 4th best starter. You know what I mean? But seems like you're asking a lot. Also, they were all so pumped last year about Aaron Holiday. It's very weird to turn around and sign Malcolm Brogdon.
Yes. And then, sign Aaron Holiday's brother as consolation to let him know you don't hate him now.
Here's my question. Could they fix... Look, this team is going to be good, too. We're talking about them like they're broken. But it just seems like the roster is weirdly constructed currently, right? It's kind of what we're saying.
Well, I would just say it's unpredictable because, if you knew Victor Oladipo was coming back December 1st, it would be totally different.
Depends when he gets when they guess him on The Masked Singer. It's when he gets unmasked.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Everyone is 100% convinced that he is the Masked Singer thingamajig.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, if he gets hurt as a Masked Singer and sets back his rehab, Andrew Bynum's bowling trip will be a thing of the past.
I'm sure.
I mean, we'll remember him forever.
I'm sure Ken Jeong is on The Masked Singer as we speak, guessing people that are way too famous to be on that show.
Like crazy people.
Yeah, no, he'll be like it's very clearly Victor Oladipo in The Mask. You know what I mean? And Ken Jeong will be like, I think it's Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise in there for sure. It's Tom Cruise.
Now, do you think he will get a boost from this Masked Singer performance?
I think the show's pretty popular.
Right, but I just mean as a player, not as a famous guy.
No, but I think it'll help him go up the ladder on the Hulu Has Live Sports food chain. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. That's true. He's gonna get a neck tattoo.
He'll still be below Embiid and Lillard, but he'll probably be above Booker.
I mean, I hope so. Jesus Christ. Not that I think they're necessarily going to be bad. I just think there's a big possibility of it just because they have so many new guys.
Yeah, sure.
And 2 of their 3 best remaining guys play the same position.
The one thing I will say, though, is that, let's get to that. They have a fallback other teams don't this year, which is... they could trade Turner or Sabonis for something really, really good.
Yes.
Are they going to do that this year, you think?
I think they will not. That's my guess.
It would be very Pacers not to. So, yeah, I think you're correct.
And I mean, maybe those guys are worse when they're playing together, but they both had really good stats last year, at least. Yeah, no, I'm more just worried that the remainder of their defense might be a lot worse aside from the post. Like, Thaddeus Young is a really good defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Jeremy Lamb's pretty good. I don't think TJ Warren is particularly good, though.
No. All right, here's my question. My last question. The Holiday brothers, Aaron and Justin. Can they become colorful folk heroes like the Lopez's?
I mean, I think they would have to maybe zig in a different direction.
Oh, you don't think they could be screaming at each other about how their cats hate each other and then, like, going to Disneyland dressed as fucking the Monsters University guys or whatever?
Yeah, like that's not gonna fly.
You're saying that
guys.
lane is taken.
I'm saying they're gonna have to pick something like maybe they both become like giant like music nerds. You know, like they have to pick a different lane. They like Disney superhero, those things are out. Like maybe if they, I don't know. I'm not sure what path is the best for these guys. I think maybe if they start becoming like amateur sleuths, that's the best.
That's pretty good.
It's like
actually
solving cold cases in Indianapolis.
That's pretty good. First thing they should figure out is where Jamal Tinsley is at all times, because that is where crime is emanating from. But I think they should go the other route. It's like the Gibb brothers, you know what I mean? Where like they had a brother too who was famous enough to go it on his own, you know what I mean?
Right,
just
right,
like
right.
they do.
Yeah.
But their powers combined, nothing stopping the Bee Gees, even their brother Andy Gibb. So I think that's what they should do. Just go full like dance music guys.
Oh, that would be great.
You know what I mean? Like just straight up, they're like the new Major Lazer or whatever.
That would be great. I also think
Holiday Road with no vowels and X's on the ends.
Yes. I love it. I also I would love a scenario. Things would probably have to go a little sour in New Orleans for this to happen. But couldn't you put together some kind of deal with one of those bigs and a draft pick and make a move for Jrue Holiday?
I don't think New Orleans wants one of those bigs.
Maybe not.
They got
but
Zion. They've got Derek Favors. But
Derek Favors is on a 1 year
yeah, but
deal.
Jackson Hayes is their future center to pair with Zion.
I just wonder if they feel like they. I mean, I know Jackson Hayes is a guy they drafted high, but he's a little raw. I don't know.
Did you see them?
And they would be
Did
taking
you see
on
them
the
last
money.
night? That game fucking ruled, dude.
I mean, I haven't been watching any preseason.
Dude, Hawks Pelicans last night was so sick. There were just highlights everywhere. Vince Carter threw a crazy behind the pack pass. Trae Young froze JJ Redick so hard I thought it would look like Medusa stared at him. And then Zion did a bunch of crazy shit. It ruled, dude. That game ruled. Lonzo looked great. He hit some threes. He was throwing crazy passes to Zion for dunks. Real fun. Anyway, over under 46.5 for the Indiana Pacers, Sean.
Under.
Okay.
It's not. They're not. I don't necessarily think they're bad, but there's just on paper, that's for sure a 2-game decline in just their guys. I think.
Give me the over, baby.
Wow.
The East is bad, and conferences have to have. This is like the 4 seed,
But
and
is
the
the
4
East
seed
worse?
The 4 seed
than
has
last
to
year?
be the 4 or 5 have to have more than 46 wins.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to be the 5 seed anymore. Like I think Orlando definitely has a better roster.
Sure,
than them.
I agree. But like,
So,
does our next team?
our next team is. I just don't think the East is worse than last year.
I do, because Kawhi Leonard is not in it.
I guess that's true. But they have
And Kyrie Irving went to a worse team than he was on before, weakening the Celtics. And the Hornets are worse.
The Hornets are worse, but like the Hawks are better. The Bulls are a lot better. The Pistons are better.
I mean, well, let's talk about
Heat
them.
are
You
better,
said their
you know?
name.
Yeah.
The Detroit Pistons, 41-41, good for 8th in the East, swept by Milwaukee. Offense 21st, defense 11th, 26th in pace. They said goodbye to Jose Calderon.
He was still in the league, Joey.
They sent him off to his ham farm to ham the days away. They said goodbye to Wayne Ellington.
I forgot he was on that.
They said goodbye to John Lure.
Isn't it weird that John Lure and John Hollinger parted ways with their teams at almost the same time?
They should reform alleyoop.com together. Alleyoops.com. It's the Redux. They also said goodbye to Glenn, 3 Big Dogs Robinson the third, and they said goodbye to Ish Smith. They said hello to 7-time All-Star, future Hall of Famer, and Big 3 champion and MVP, Joe Johnson, baby. They also drafted rookie Sekou Doumbouya, I'll never be able Duyumba, and a man named Jordan Bone. They also
Ken Bone's son.
They also signed G League version of Jordan Bone, Tim Frazier. They signed Bad Person, Derrick Rose. They signed Markieff, the dark half of the Morris twins, Markieff Morris, and they signed everyone's least favorite 3-and-D wing, Tony Snell, baby.
Mm-hmm.
How many games will Blake Griffin play?
I gotta say, this question determines whether you think the Detroit Pistons are going to make the playoffs or not. As far as I can tell, like that, he's so overwhelmingly the reason whether they're going to be good or bad. And I am pessimistic on Blake this year. I think he's going to play about 64 games.
I wouldn't even say that's pessimistic. I think that's kind of optimistic for Blake, because I was going to say 49.
Yeah. And it's too bad because I do feel like they made some improvements, especially just
I was going to ask you about that.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Why?
Please. Why do you think they've made improvements?
Yes.
Oh, just because the team was so shallow last year that not like okay. First of all, I don't think Joe Johnson is going to be able to contribute as great as it's been in the Big Three and how much I like him. He's just a lot older than the guys he's going to be playing against. I think Tony Snell and Markieff Morris are just way better than the guys who were playing those minutes last year.
Does Markieff Morris's neck work?
Oh, that I don't know. And that actually, maybe that is a poor assumption from me that it's like, oh, he's better. Because he didn't play the whole season. He didn't even come back for...
I mean, he was walking, he was like limping around kind of, but like, yeah, he wasn't really...
No, he missed like the whole year for a team that really needed
No, but then he went to the Thunder, remember, and played a little bit.
No, that's what.
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
That's what I mean. Like I think he. Well, let me just. Okay, so last year, the leaders in minutes for this Pistons team in the playoffs were Luke Kennard, Wayne Ellington, Andre Drummond, Langston Galloway, and Reggie Jackson.
Uh-huh. Here's my thing.
Tony Snell, go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
Here's my worry.
Uh-huh.
Look, Ish Smith is not good. But Reggie Jackson's a huge dick that no one likes. And Ish Smith is the kind of calming other point guard where it's like, oh, thank God this guy's in. He's not a huge dick.
Right.
And now you're looking down the gun at Derrick Rose as opposed to Reggie Jackson. And that just seems fucking soul-crushing.
Yeah, now that I'm like looking at this, I'm going to back off the Detroit got better this year because Derrick Rose isn't good.
Mm-mm.
You know,
He had that one crazy game in an okay month, and that was it last year.
Yeah. Like okay, so Derrick Rose, it seems like he had a streak of hot 3-point shooting that really helped him last season, especially when he had, was it a 50-point game?
Mm-hmm.
And he did eventually shoot 37% from 3, but I think he's going to be closer to his career average of 30%.
Now, what I will say is there's a chance, it's a slim one, but maybe Svi and Thon Maker got better.
Mm-hmm.
Or Luke Kennard. I mean, they do have young guys, which they didn't 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they have like people like the rookies they drafted. And you know, Thon Maker's funny, and so of course so's Fee. In fact, I should just ask you this question: are Thon Maker, Makur, and Svi Mikhailiuk the funniest potential bench front court in the NBA?
I think that's a hilarious combination. Because it's two guys that shoot threes, and neither one looks like they should be shooting threes. Long arms and short arms. Svi and Thon are both surprising names.
Also from surprising places, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Like
Thon, I believe, came to America through Australia, right?
Yeah, but he's from, like, South Sudan.
Yeah, and then Svi went to some weird, like, Ohio State or something for 4 years, but got there as a 15-year-old to Kansas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Svi is, he's still pretty young. He's like, I mean, yeah, he came over in the blockbuster Reggie Bullock deal this year, but he, he's 21
and a college graduate.
He actually only played 3 games for them last year,
but it was his rookie year, and he was a second-round pick.
Yeah, he was 21 years old.
Yeah. But he's also weirdly a college graduate at 21.
He was, so he's smart. And, you know, they won't have Stanley Johnson around bumming everybody out, but, I mean, it's the sad thing is that I think Tony Snell is going to be one of their better players.
Well, that was going to be my question. Who's their third best player?
So it's, I mean, Blake and Drummond are the 2 best players. It's either Luke Kennard or Tony Snell, I think.
I mean, it could be Brett Brown, right? Isn't that their other rookie last year?
What is that guy's name? Bruce Brown?
Bruce Brown, yeah.
He was all right. He didn't play... Well, I mean, he played... Actually, he
did play a lot.
He played 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He was not particularly a scorer, Joey.
Not a surprise.
Point guard
he was
in Summer
drafted
League
by the Pistons.
Look, I'll just say he was not stuffing the box score last year. His box score play, he was a defensive plus and a large offensive minus by the advanced stats. But
well, that's different than literally everyone else on their team. So
that is true.
Which it's a team full of shooters who are also non-shooters who are also defensive minuses.
Yeah,
it's a weird team.
He can make a corner three at a pretty high rate, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like there is an overwhelming amount of talent. And if Blake Griffin's not playing, they're pretty bad, I think. Not that they don't have a bunch of potential with a lot of these guys, but just, even like Dumboya seems like
I think he's going to be really good.
Cool.
I like him,
but he
seems far
18
away.
years old.
Yeah. He was the youngest man in the draft by far, I believe.
And he's
like 100 pounds,
long arms, good athlete. But I don't think he can really shoot. And he's gonna be, he's gonna be he's turns 19 at Christmas, so he's just not really gonna contribute this year.
Okay. I have a prediction for this team, Sean.
Okay.
Do you remember the pre-Dirk Nowitzki Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, Jim Jackson.
Yes, the 3 J's.
The 3 J's, and how they hated each other so much it essentially blew up the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting a redux of that with Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, and Derrick Rose.
Ooh.
That is a bad set of personalities, my man.
Yeah.
I do not like it. And Andre Drummond, who also has had weird personality issues, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just get bad vibes from this man. Luckily, Dwayne Casey's their coach. He rules.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm getting bad vibes off this team, dude.
I don't like them at all. I have to say, every time, the more we're talking about them, the more I'm just like, I feel like it could be a really bad disaster if Blake Griffin misses significant time, especially if he's like not there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Reggie Jackson and Derrick Rose are fighting over who's the alpha dog.
Yeah, while Luke Kennard is
both
getting minutes in between them.
I could absolutely see Derrick Rose getting hot and just shunting Kennard aside.
This team is so weird. The Duke white guy is the good one.
Oh yeah, he's like the one where you're like, oh god,
they gotta play Kennard.
Only get a white guy from Duke in. That's all they need.
All right, Sean. Over under 37.5.
I'm picking under.
I'm also
I'm thinking
picking under.
I wish I could like this is a black swan team.
Mm-hmm. Look,
this is a real disaster.
This team could also totally. I'm fully prepared to be like 15 games wrong on this though too. At the same time, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think this team could win like 29 games, and they could win like 42 or 43 games. Yeah.
All right. Let's check in with our favorite coach. The Chicago Bulls, baby. 22-60 last year.
Worse than I had remembered.
Good for 13th in the East. They were 29th in offense, 25th in defense, 19th in pace. They said goodbye to Robin Lopez. Wayne Selden. Every time I see his name, I'm surprised he's still in the NBA. TLC himself, Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, and Antonio Blakeney. They said hello to rookies Kobe White and Daniel Gafford, Luke Cornett, Thaddeus Young, and Thomas Satoransky. First question. Sean, what's Jim Boylen going to do first this year to delight and horrify us?
Okay, so I think I could see Jim Boylen giving the team an inspirational bet.
Mm-hmm.
So something like Jim Boylen offers to grow a mustache, go totally bald, or like go shirtless at a practice.
Sure.
Something like that. But it's going to be like it's going to be very physical. You know, it's not going to be like Jim Boylen buys him something or takes him out somewhere.
Oh, he's a physical comedian. Also, he's very poor.
Yeah, exactly. He is eating cereal at celebrations. Yeah, so I think that's how he's going to kick things
I
off.
like it. I mean, we already heard Lauri Markkanen has a video of him jumping into the Croatian Sea, I believe.
Great.
On his phone.
God, he's the best.
I know that's not a C, and I also know Lauri Markkanen's not Croatian. I messed that up. I forget where he's jumping into, but
I think is he Finnish?
Yeah. Anyway,
probably the Baltic Sea.
Yeah, it is the Baltic. Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many NBA players would you take to start a franchise ahead of Jim Boylen?
9 or 10, maybe. Not a lot. I mean,
I'd have to test
fewer than I would take before Brad Stevens. That's
I'd
for
have
sure.
to test their souls first to really figure it out. How to see how awesome they were. You know, I'd have to give them
JB could be number one,
like a Scientology style,
like an E-meter
readings. Yeah, to see if the awesome meter, the A meter.
The A meter,
the
awesome A+ meter.
Are. The Bulls added Thomas Satoransky and Thaddeus Young. Is that the most inexplicable Roundball Rock favorites acquired by any other team?
But by percentage, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
Because they really only signed 3 guys.
You love Thaddeus Young.
I love Thaddeus Young.
And I love
and
Tomas Satoransky.
Yeah. And I think each of us likes the other player, too. Yeah.
Who do you love
I honestly
more?
think this is...
Who do you love more? Thaddeus Young or Etuan Moore?
Ooh. I like Thaddeus better, but I feel like I need to stand for Etuan Moore.
I get it.
I think Thaddeus Young's value is more recognized, whereas Etuan Moore is just shining under his light is under a bushel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be really helpful.
Satoransky specifically, I think, is going to really help them because it means Zach LaVine doesn't have to play fake point guard as much.
Yeah, and Satoransky's like the point guard you want alongside Zach LaVine,
right? Because he doesn't have to dribble that much, too. You know what I mean? He's really a shooting guard who just kind of can run an offense.
Yeah, yeah.
The Bulls have many exciting young players, but their names are Lowry, Wendell, and Kobe with a C. Is that discouraging?
I would say mildly.
I worry more about the auto, too. You forgot to throw an auto.
They do have an auto, yeah.
I mean, Otto might be their best player.
Oh, I think he definitely could be.
Otto Porter's good.
Yeah, he is. Markkanen has like a pretty high ceiling.
Markkanen and Wendell rule, but I don't know. It's going to depend if they put it together. They you know what I mean? They might not be finished products yet, where I think Otto is.
Right, exactly. And I think I think you're completely right about that. I think he's going to be the best player. I think LaVine's going to be pretty good next year, though. I really do.
Yeah. It's amazing how much Zach LaVine loves Jim Boylen.
Well, also because he was not on board
None
to start
of them
off.
were. And now they all are. I feel like...
He also could be fired by January.
Do you remember... Do you remember when Future Islands was on David Letterman?
Yes.
And how that fucking weird guy sang and how into it David Letterman was? I sort of feel like Jim Boylen is the Future Islands guy performing on Letterman of the NBA. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just
Oh, absolutely. We're like, I've never seen anything like this before.
The first 15 seconds, you're like, I am not into this. And then the next 3 minutes, you're like, I am really into this. All right, we know more Jim Boylen questions, of course, Sean. So Jim Boylen, we know his favorite show is Family Feud. It's what he watched to celebrate his first NBA win. So my question, and my final question, who is Jim Boylen's favorite Family Feud host?
Now, granted, I don't know that he is necessarily savvy enough in his Family Feud searching to do anything but TiVo the ones that are just regularly broadcast. But I think Louis Anderson is his favorite.
See, I was going to say that guy's the one that killed himself. I think that's Boylen's favorite.
Oh, that guy. Why can't I remember his name? Rest in peace.
Something my girlfriend hates about me is that I know which famous people committed suicide and constantly mention it, and I'm really sorry I don't know that guy's name. I'm looking it up.
His name is Ray Combs.
Yeah, Ray Combs. That is for sure Boylen's favorite. I bet I bet Boylen has prayed for Ray Combs' family recently. All right, Sean, over under.
Do you know what Ray Combs' best known stand-up shtick was?
No.
Audience sing-alongs of sitcom theme songs.
Sounds right.
So yes, he is definitely Jim Boylen's favorite host.
Over under 34.
You know what? Over.
I'm also taking the over.
I think they're pretty good. And look, I really think Otto Porter is going to be huge because I bring this up a lot, but the Bulls literally didn't have a small forward last year until they acquired him. Like, Denzel Valentine missed the whole year. Chandler Hutchison is not really an NBA small forward. That alone is going to be really big. But also, like, Chris Dunn as your backup point guard. That seems a lot more, could potentially be pretty good,
I think they feel like a 35-40 win team to me.
Yeah. Especially when the Pistons crater,
Yeah, after Derrick Rose and Reggie Jackson have been convicted of each other's murders.
Yeah.
In the locker room.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last year they went 19-63. Good for 14th in the East. They somehow did not receive the number 1 overall pick, even though LeBron left as a free agent. Shocking.
See, I think that violates the CBA, I think.
They were 25th in offense, 30th in defense, 29th in pace.
Well, great. A bad and
slow,
deliberate team. That's what you like as a fan.
They said goodbye to J.R. Smith, Channing Frye, Nick Stauskas, Jaren Blossomgame, Marquise Chris, and Deng Adol. They said hello to Kevin Porter Jr., Dylan Windler, Darius Garland, Jarrell Martin, TLC Timothy Lawawu-Cabarrot, Sindarius Thornwell, and of course, they hired an old man college coach named Jim Beeline.
I think it's John Beilein.
John Beeline. Sorry.
Doesn't it? Oh, yeah. That I gotta say that is a weird hiring. Only because he's 66 years old.
I can tell you why. Though, fucking Dan Gilbert loves Michigan. Everything Michigan.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
He'd been trying to hire Tom Izzo for years.
Yeah, and actually this guy's been doing better than Tom Izzo and has not been covering up a series of sexual assaults on campus.
Wow.
So that's twice as good.
I don't know if you can learn at 66, though, that it's okay to buy your players dinner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true. He's going to be, like, not feeding them and just, like, the Cavs are going to be like, we actually don't know the playbook because the coach thinks it's impermissible to contact him. Like we can't talk to him until October 1st.
My first question: are they going to trade Kevin Love somewhere?
I think they're not going to be able to do it this year. I mean, they probably want to trade him, but I think I don't know. He should still be helpful to teams, right?
I mean, he was hurt all last year.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Well, and so he is owed a fairly large amount of money.
Because the Cavs signed him to that insane contract extension.
So it's weird because the contract goes up and down, but he has 4 years and $120 million left.
I think the team's going to have to trade for him this summer. And that's depending on how bad the Chinese economy decides to crater the salary cap.
Yeah, that's a good point. Daryl Morey may have made Kevin Love. He may have stuck him there in Cleveland. Yeah. I mean, and I don't think there's like...
And it's too bad because I could totally see the Houston Rockets trading Russell Westbrook for Kevin Love this summer just to shuffle the decks around.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be this summer too, just because it's like 4 years is different than 3 years left.
Here's a weird question for you.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it weird that this team still has Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance?
Well, they even extended Larry Nance, right? Didn't they?
They did.
Didn't they sign him?
Yes.
That seems like a weird move. No offense to Larry Nance Jr., but like,
you know who else is still on this team?
So 4 years and $44 million.
You know?
Oh, it's go ahead.
Who
Sorry.
else is still on this team, Sean?
Who?
Tristan Thompson.
Oh my God! You have a year left on the deal. See, I can see him getting traded. I don't know if he's going to get traded somewhere where he can play, but I could see someone. I don't know. It seems like people don't like him. It seems like his teammates don't like him.
It's very possible the last game I have ever personally watched Tristan Thompson play was that game where he tried to punch Draymond Green at the end of that finals.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where he just seems like he's spiraling a little bit. It seems like it was a bad idea for whatever happened at the end of his relationship with Khloe Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like that helped him a lot.
No. Okay, over under, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
24.5 for the Beeline boys.
I'm going under.
I'm also going under. This team seems so bad.
Yeah, like truly bad. Truly no real incentive.
Also not
to
the
do
worst
well.
team in the East still, though.
Well, also they have a bunch of money coming off the cap this summer, and given kind of like the shape of this is the year to bottom out before they have a bunch of money to spend on free agents in the summer.
Right.
So there's like no reason for them to win a single game, really.
Mm-hmm.
The coach has security, and they're going to try to they could win like 15 games.
Yeah.
And I don't even feel pessimistic that much about Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. It's just that they're both like tiny young point guards.
Mm-hmm.
And Sexton shot really well last year, but
I'm not buying it, man.
Kind of hard to. Well, it's kind of hard to look. I've been, as a longtime Warriors fan, I have been definitely fooled by a shoot first guard who has the green light for a terrible team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that's our preview of this division. But as we say every week, we don't actually know anything about basketball. We watch it for the stories. Luckily, though, we do know two guys who do know a lot about basketball, particularly the analytical side of basketball. And here with their preview of the Atlantic Division.
This is Slamm'd Up
Are Brett Slampson
with Brett Sampson and Randy Ledoux.
And another episode of Slamm'd Up.
Analytics, friendship, efficiency, and promo codes. These guys are fucking dorks.
Welcome back to the Slamm'd Up Basketball Podcast, the only analytics basketball podcast embedded in another more playful, perhaps more inessential podcast, Roundball Rock. I am
Stupid.
Your host. What?
It's stupid.
Oh, I think we're filling in that I was stupid.
No.
That voice you're hearing is Randy Ledoux, who's with me often as not on this podcast.
Hello.
Randy, how are you? Yeah, the Randolph Rock podcast is stupid. I am Brett Slampson, of course. Randy, how's your week been?
Pretty good. I got a new job. As everybody
did?
knows, I have a background in politics.
You do, yes.
I also have a background in law.
Mm-hmm.
Background in ticket scalping.
That's true.
Background in powder drawing.
You have done that,
Background
yes.
in apple biting.
You have a master's in that somehow.
But yeah, I was working for Amy Klobuchar.
Oh, how was that?
You don't want to.
Also,
know
you said
that.
was. You're not working there anymore?
I'm on 1 week contracts. It's how they do it in the political game.
Oh, wow. That's I mean, the NBA should adapt that. That would be amazing if we had a mock off season every single week.
I prefer it. I don't want to take up the cap space of these the vital cap space these candidates provide.
Mm-hmm. You're really keeping the campaigns very switchy with that kind of behavior.
Of course, we love switchiness here at Slamm'd Up. Anyway, I loved it. I love that lady. She's great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've heard she's a good leader. Knows when to crack the whip. Knows when to throw the coffee pot, as they say in the political world. Got a good, repeatable, stable gun motion. If someone disappoints her, I'm a big supporter. I'm a fan.
I was really into it. I made a suggestion on some campaign stuff, and she called me a stupid little dirty pig.
Oh, yeah. All right.
And
What
then
else
she
did she
spit
say?
on my head.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. I'm taking notes here.
It
Wow,
was great.
like a
that's
like a
just the way
loogie
I
or
like
just regular saliva?
It was regular.
Okay,
But yeah,
all
it's
right.
just the way I like to be talked to. It's what I want and for my friends, family, bosses, podcast
Well,
co-hosts.
It's honestly what you deserve. So that's great. You deserve nothing better. Is what I would say.
Thank
What
you,
we
sir.
deserve. What we deserve is our first sponsor. And this week our sponsor is Alibaba.com. Also AliExpress.com. What can I say about the search engine and marketplace, Alibaba.com? The best place in the world to connect importers and exporters from the greatest nation on earth, the People's Republic of China. Often imitated, but never duplicated. China is Bay. Alibaba does it all, just like their wise president, Xi Jinping. Fight for bargains, stand with Alibaba. I'd also like to take this moment to apologize for an old tweet that some Slamm'd Up listeners in Shanghai recently dug up, which involved, I don't want to get into it, but there was a Coke, a Chinese person, and some inappropriate urination. I do not want to get into the details here. The most important thing is the joke was not funny. And the important thing is I made an appropriate show of remorse. I have deleted the tweet, and Slamm'd Up is no longer banned on Youku. Now, to get 10% off your next wonderful Alibaba purchase, because they're all wonderful, use promo codes Profits Over Human Rights. It's easy to remember. We talk about it all the time on the podcast.
Oh, it's our favorite.
It's one of our favorite slogans. In conclusion, Alibaba.com, fuck the Houston Rockets. All right, we're moving on to the Central Division. of the NBA, named after the superior economic planning system for a large nation, Central. And we're going to start with last year's disgraceful Eastern Conference Finals losers, the Milwaukee Bucks.
I can't believe after what happened to them in the playoffs last year, they did not blow it up this summer.
I was thinking the exact same thing. The Giannis Antetokounmpo, his value is never going to be higher.
The window is closed. Their championship window is closed.
Yeah, they took a bite at the apple, and it knocked one of their teeth out, specifically Eric Bledsoe's tooth out, and at this point, burn the arena to the ground, sell off all the players, and relocate, I would say.
I'm glad we agree.
A couple other notes of this team. Trenton Duval had an offensive rating of 179 last year. Why doesn't he play more, Randy?
Because Coach Bud is drunk? I don't know. Get some numbers people in there. Look,
yeah, get some stats.
They're owned by hedge fund guys just like you and me. These guys should know. Get the math in there. Not a weird man who looks like a red-faced koi fish to just do what his gut says. Because you know what his gut says?
What's
to
that gut say?
care about people.
Randy, I'm almost sick just hearing you say that. Just imagining the human emotion coming out of Mike Budenholzer's. He's already getting too sentimental with the players. He needs to be much more robotic, much colder, because that is what Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to respond to. Speaking of Giannis, where was he on your MVP ballot, Randy?
13th.
I had him 25th
sounds
because
right.
You can't shoot threes. You're just not that valuable a player. So time to trade Giannis and get a little switchier. But honestly, I would get rid of anybody on the team that's over the age of 21. Our next team is the Indiana Pacers, and I am excited about this team. What they have done demographically, Randy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they brought in T.J. McConnell, who's just got. He's a great backup point guard. He's got a lot of energy off the bench. He's he's changing the complexion of this team, I would say. And, it's pretty much the opposite of what the Penn State football team has been doing recently. Getting real sloppy. Perhaps you've read my multiple Medium posts, an open letter, my follow-up open letter addendum, and then several closed letters, and then the final message was open, but in an elaborate code. I am going to keep fighting the good fight for haircuts. Randy, what do you think of this Pacers team?
I really think that they should play TJ Leaf more.
Oh, absolutely.
He led the team in offensive rating per 100 possessions, and everyone knows that a basketball game is based on 100 possessions. So, play TJ Leaf.
Yeah, if you play less or more than 100 possessions, you should be fined. He also had a PER of 16.9. That is fantastic. Also, his name's TJ. I say you take that team. I want to see Sabonis. I want to see TJ Leaf. And I want to see TJ McConnell.
You know who else I want to
TJ
see?
action.
Doug McDermott.
Oh my gosh! Oh boy, it's like
590 effective field goal percentage. Good for second on the team. You gotta play him.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Definitely play him over anyone they signed this summer.
Absolutely, anyone they signed this summer. It's just you got to see the kind of things that these guys can do. If you put up an 80% whitewash, that sent a message.
I gotta say, they should also be playing Alize Johnson. 16.5 total rebound percentage.
That's incredible. I mean, he was dominating. How is that guy only getting 14 games a year? That's ridiculous. I would fire Nate McMillan. I would replace him with Vice President Mike Pence. I feel like he just write in TJ, Doug,
other
Sabonis,
TJ,
and other TJ. Just play any TJ. I would even play TJ Warren just to get an extra TJ in there.
Not switchy enough.
Well, as long as he's got Doug McDermott to cover him.
Fair point.
You got that basketball IQ. He's a coach's kid. Speaking of IQs, if you've got a high IQ, this is a great product for you. If you're looking for beautiful set photos from Back to the Future or frame mugshots from the cocaine trafficking trial of former General Motors executive John DeLorean, there's no better place to go than Torian Prince's DeLorean Prince. The New York Brooklyn Nets forward has a wide selection of items starting at $88. Do you get it? That's the time machine speed from Back to the Future, Randy.
I've never seen that.
I read a summary on Wikipedia and it was pretty entertaining. Do you want bankruptcy records? He's got bankruptcy records. Do you want a rare photo of Eric Stoltz playing Marty McFly before he got fired? Torian's got it. And at Torian Prince's DeLorean Prince, they also offer non-cash solutions in bartering because Torian Prince knows all about lopsided trades. Maybe you want a wedding photo of John DeLorean marrying Mark Harmon's sister. Maybe you need a video of Crispin Glover and Thomas Wilson asleep in the front seat of the Back to the Future DeLorean. Either way, just like a non-threatening offensive wing player in the NBA Southeast Division, Torian Prince has got you covered. Sign up for an account at TorianPrincesDeLoreanPrince.com today, and you'll receive a free photocopy of John DeLorean's monorail patent and a thorough explanation of why Marty McFly hates being called chicken. Just use promo code HeyMan, get your damn hands off her. It's easy to remember. People yell it at me every single day. So thank you, Torian Prince's DeLorean Prince. Randy, do you think you're going to visit there?
No.
Yeah, I
have to.
don't really understand.
I have to work.
That's right. I don't.
It's pundit season, baby.
That's true. That's true. Are you going to be on the? Are you going to be appearing on the circus this year?
No. I am going to be on Meet the Tiny Press.
Oh. Are those the? Are they nicer to the tiny reporters and the tiny operatives?
Oh, so much nicer.
Oh,
no one ever calls them fake news.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's an amazing miracle
because it's the fine print.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. You can trust the fine print if you check it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the Detroit Pistons, doomed American city falling apart, run by corrupt leaders and abandoned by union gutted industry. The Detroit Pistons were the 8th seed in the playoffs last year. Randy, what do you think of this team?
What do you think I think of this team, Brett? They got no cap space. They're paying all these big men, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible. Not switchy, can't shoot. They don't even have Henry Ellenson anymore.
Yeah, that was a real blow, I think. I'm going to say they need to start giving... Oh, yeah.
Their leaders
please.
in offensive rating per 100 possessions were
the most important stat in basketball.
Were Willie Reed and Reggie Hearn. Guess who aren't on the team this year?
It's those two guys.
It is those two guys. Guess who their third
Joe
leader was?
Oh, please.
Anthony Tolliver. Guess who their fourth guy was? Reggie Bullock.
Also gone.
It's not going to happen, man.
Yeah, this is a bad team. They should give the ball to Luke Kennard. He's their switchiest guy. They should also let him coach the team. While I think they need to convince Andre Drummond to retire and join the circus, and failing that, slip him a Mickey Finn and send him off to a Russian circus.
Like it?
Yeah.
I personally would just replace the team entirely with that big fist, from downtown Detroit that they show in those Iggy Pop commercials.
Just that. Yeah.
Just
that's my starting five is the fingers of that fist.
Yeah, just run that big fist out there.
And that's a symbol of how Detroit likes to punch you in the nuts, like Chris Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
See, maybe they should trade for Chris Paul. I mean, come
on,
he is legally dead.
Come on, that contract is a killer.
But yeah, if you could trade him for one of those bigs who's making big money.
I heard if you see that contract, 3 days later it comes out of your television and strangles you.
Oh my gosh, is that what happened to Brian Colangelo that one time?
Yeah, he saw the Chris Paul contract.
Oh, that's a rough one. All right, well, let's move on
and then he passed it on to Ryan McDonough.
Ooh, that's why he disappeared into an alternate dimension. All right, let's moving on to the Bulls of Chicago with my close personal friend Jim Boylen at the controls. I don't know him from the world of basketball, but we did trade VHS copies of old game shows for a while. So he's a good guy,
Which
good
ones?
collection. Well, he was a big fan of The Pyramid. Has an unparalleled collection of match game cassettes, and the only thing
Not after
and
dark,
also,
though, right? He's not.
No.
He wouldn't
He's
like
he's a
that.
clean living guy. Also, any Woolry stuff. I like Password personally, but he's got them all. And the great collection, good collector, good quality. Just cassettes tend to have jam on them quite a bit of time, so you got to wipe them off with a little bit. But Boylen's a good dude. So here's my first question for you, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
The leader of this team in defensive win shares was Shaq Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't he playing over Zach LaVine?
You'll have to ask your friend Jim Boylen.
I guess I will. I guess I'll meet him at the convention. I got some rare set worn Wink Martindale merch
Here's
that I
my
think he might be
question.
interested in.
While you're asking him that question, riddle me this, Jim Boylen. Jakar Sampson, per 100 possessions, offensive rating of 123.
Mhm.
Why isn't he playing? He
Yeah,
played in
I don't
4
think-
games. What if he played in 82? His offensive rating could have been 2,000 for all we
Sky
know.
high, absolutely sky high. Truly incredible, and he's overlooked. My other question about roster playing is, Randy, should they play human trade exception Chris Dunn, or should they keep him on his bench to preserve his human flesh to protect his real value, which is, of course, purely as a paper accounting asset?
Excellent question. I would see if you could keep the contract, but also find a way to use him as an intern, an unpaid intern at the same time, or a contractor.
Ooh, that would be
make
good.
him do stuff around your office for you, while using the contract as, of course, the more valuable thing, because a person is, of course, not valuable at all.
Now, Randy, I want to look at. We both have a shared background in law, of course. Although mine is more, Swiss investing and maritime law. But is it possible for them to take the depreciation on Chris Dunn based on the deterioration of his body over the life of the contract as he approaches, the Logan's Run age of 27, where the human body just ceases to be an effective organism whatsoever?
You know what? I think I'd just find a pasture and put him out there.
Yeah, tell the other players that he went to live on a farm, which should, of course, be automated and are harvested by and for robots.
And one of those players should, of course, be Walt Lemon, who, of course, as we all know, led the team in defensive rating per 100 possessions.
He should be playing 42 minutes
He's
a game.
26 years old, though, so you only get one more year on him.
Well, yeah. In fact, I'd play him all 48 because you want to get the most life force out of the physical husk
Well,
as
we
you
all
can.
know human bodies only have a finite amount of energy, so you got to burn it out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you want to be left with a husk. You want to use up every amount of that player's health and value by the time they turn 27, and then you can just more easily recycle them.
You should think of basketball players as people who work in Amazon fulfillment centers. Well, people's the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
No. Right. Automabots. I like to call those seemingly human beings. Speaking of human beings, we've got a final sponsor for the podcast this week. This is for Theranos. Now, you have probably read the book about Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, or listened to the podcast, or watched the documentary, or are looking forward to the Hulu original series based on a podcast about Theranos.
Don't forget, they might have played the VR game.
Oh, that's right. There is a VR game that you can play if you've gone to one of those places. So what about the future of the blood testing company? Well, they have rebranded themselves, and they are now a Halloween store, which will sell you an Elizabeth Holmes Halloween costume and test your blood inaccurately. They've got more turtlenecks than a reptile chiropractor. They've got blonde wigs, and they've also got a special voice modulator that simulates the heartbreakingly sexy, almost irresistible voice of that fraudulent but bewitching CEO. Samson Corp did go in pretty hard on investing on them earlier, but oh well, no, we bailed out. We got a little I don't want to say insider trading, but I would say there may have been
again.
No. I think there was an inside trade exception that was used, and I dumped a lot of those on Rocket's owner, Tillman Fertitta. But now you can visit any of the existing abandoned locations inside Walgreens or Rayleigh's or wherever they built those dumb machines and get your low-priced Elizabeth Holmes outfit. For the gentleman, that will double as a Steve Jobs costume. So, check it out. If you're a slim fit type of man, maybe kind of a wiry, womanly frame, this should work just as well for your Steve Jobs costume. Remember, if you're playing Steve Jobs, you should only drink juice and then die of cancer for no reason. You will be the hit of the party with your Elizabeth Holmes Theranos outfit. Also, there will almost certainly be random blood from a stranger on the sweater. So get a free bonus pair of smart person glasses with promo code We Got to Second Base once at a VC party in Menlo Park. Talk about that all the time on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Theranos. And Elizabeth, text me. I'm around. All right, our final team in the Central Division is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Randy, I'm not gonna lie. I love what the Cavaliers have done this offseason.
Oh, really? Let's hear it.
Here's Dan Gilbert's genius strategy. You run the team into the ground. You devalue the arena that the team plays in because of their incredible decline into just NBA purgatory. You turn that arena into slums paid for by predatory Quicken Loans, and you just collect the profits. It's genius. Dan Gilbert, we salute you.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I'm writing a book about it. Called The Big Tall.
Ooh.
It's weird that a man as short as me is writing a book about men as tall as the Cleveland Cavaliers, like Larry Nance.
Oh, I like how clever that is.
Who, of course, Larry Nance was the team's best player at a .131 win shares per 48.
Ooh, nice.
Next, of course, was Tristan Thompson at .105. Ante Zizic at .087.
He should be the point guard.
Honestly, their four best players, according to win share per 48, were Larry Nance, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, and Ante Zizic, and then Cameron Payne at the point guard.
Well, it was a shame that they let Cameron Payne go because I would like to see that top five in action.
Well, I know you're gonna like this even better. You know who the sixth best player was?
Oh, who was
your
it?
man, Sam Decker.
Oh my gosh! Well, he's clearly back on the roster, right?
I'm sure he is.
Well, wait, did he not? Oh no! Hold on, I'm checking the transaction wire. I may not have. Oh no! He's going to Russia?
Yeah, he's in Russia.
Oh, we need Congress to investigate Russia's interference with the NBA free agency market because, frankly, this is ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to.
I was afraid to tell you.
I don't know what they're thinking. He's just such a his game, his offensive rating, his politics, his substantial knowledge of local Wisconsin high school basketball, his unabashed pride about being a Caucasian. It's very disappointing. I hate it.
I know.
I hate it so much.
I'm so sorry. What if I reminded you again that I'm 2 inches tall?
Oh wait, well that's it's hilarious. You're so small. Can't do anything at that height. So weak. Well, at least he's in a strong nation with a strong leader like Vladimir Putin. And I hope his efforts, I hope he stays extremely online. And I think he will. I think he really will. Randy.
Yes.
I think we've concluded this week in the Central Division.
That's good, because I got a meeting with Cory Booker in 35 minutes.
Oh my gosh, Cory Booker. He's very sweaty.
I have to
should
tell
bring
you,
a
it's
rain-
not a
bring an
meeting.
umbrella.
He hasn't hired me yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
we'll
I
bring
heard
an
he's
umbrella
getting
because
a box of sprouts delivered to his house. So I don't know if you know this. He's vegan.
he's vegan.
Yeah, he won't shut up about it. Anyway, he's getting sprouts delivered to his house, and I'm going to hide in the box, and then I'm going to jump out and give him my card.
Ooh, well, that's a good strategy. Make sure he doesn't sweat on you. He's very sweaty. All right. Well, that's it for the Slamm'd Up podcast. We'll be back with 3 more of these podcasts. Sorry that you had to wade through all the nonsense and the non-truth telling from Sean and Joey, but we will be back soon with some actual truth.
Well, that was that, Sean.
Yeah, those guys were on again.
Yeah. Don't know why we keep doing it. But that's been our show. Sean, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a piece about teams that are gonna be jumping into the playoffs, and a thing about my secret theory that Daryl Morey kind of wants to get fired.
Mm-hmm. As for me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Frankie Muniz. We're on September 30th. I tweeted, I watched the at Jonas Brothers doc Chasing Happiness last night, and it really motivated me. So much I cleaned my house at 11 p.m. because it's all I could do that late. But today's the day I start working towards my second act.
I don't like to think about his second act.
Me either. Did you write a song?
I did.
What is it?
It's a Neil Diamond song about all this China controversy, and it's called "A Tweet Got Daryl Fired."
Great. Sounds perfect. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
And, shut it down. Let's see what happens with China.
Woohoo! It's gonna be fun, whatever it is.
Yeah, so great. Love it.
Hello, this is Neil Diamond, asking you to like, rate, and subscribe to Round Ball Rock, especially all my friends in Beijing. Where it began, Daryl was checking Facebook, started tweeting about Hong Kong. He got ratioed. Tillman made him delete it. Knew the backlash would be strong. Bots, retweeting bots. Houston's out. No Rockets highlights on YouTube. A tweet got Daryl fired. China thinks free speech is no good. No good, no good, no good. Tillman stock declined because his GM was rude. But now we look at Leaning. They've cut ties with the Rockets. They're only backing Evan Turner. It cost Tillman cash. He's gonna fire some busboys. His next GM will use a burner. Xi Jinping cracking down, banning preseason games too. A tweet got Daryl fired. Dork Elvis will rule no more. No more, no more, no more. Hardin apologized, but his jersey's not in the team store in Shanghai. You know, I once got into a trouble when I sang the song Cracklin' Rosie in front of Chairman Mao. Didn't realize that the translation into China, I called him a cuck. Darryl got fired. The Knicks' job never looked so good. So good, so good, so good. But I'd be surprised if no one's died from Tillman's food. A tweet got Darryl fired. The situation is lose, 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 lose. But I Darryl fired. NBA got owned by Ted Cruz.